Hello guys, welcome to my channel. The less is more. So today we will discuss an editorial from Indian Express. So let's start an editorial directly. Today's topic is international relation and the title is A Finer Balance. PM Modi deftly used the G7 forum to recalibrate Delhi's position. G7 forum to recalibrate Delhi's position and deliver important message on Ukraine. More than a year after Russia launched a war against Ukraine, Delhi continued to calibrate its position, keeping an eye on the evolving situation. This was once again in evidence at the meeting of the G7 in Hiroshima, where PM Modi sent out three strong messages. The first, a call to international community to raise your voice against unilateral attempt to change the status quo, was a clearer reiteration of earlier Indian statements, particularly at the UN in support of the contemporary global order built on the UN Charter, international law and respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of states. By calling on all countries to respect the global order, Modi appeared to be messaging not just Russia on its aggression in Ukraine but also China, whose unilateral action to change the status quo on the line of actual control with India in eastern Ladakh created military tensions that are yet to be resolved. That the PM said this after his meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky is a significant. It may have thrilled Western capitals as much as his "this is not an era for war" remark to Putin. This was Modi's first meeting with Zelensky since 2021, though they have spoken 4 times over the phone since the war began in 2022. But Modi's message to the Ukrainian leader that his government would make every possible effort to contribute in whatever way India can for resolving this situation has to be seen in the context of his second key message at Hiroshima as the voice of the global south. India has said many times that the less developed and developing world has suffered immensely because of the war. By reiterating this to the club of the world's wealthiest nations, the torchbearer of the status quo in the global order, Modi was not just walking a tightrope but articulating a normative underpinning for it. That the war has hurt developing countries most by triggering a global fuel, food, fertilizer crisis which they do not have the resources to offset, and that the conflict needs to be brought to an end urgently through dialogue before more people die or displaced and more destruction take place. Today, the richest nations are driving Ukraine's military response against Russia. If they are seeking a peaceful resolution to the war, it is not apparent by their actions. When PM Modi pointed out the failure of the United Nations to prevent conflict, this was his third important message. He was hitting out at the wealthy status quoists assembled at Hiroshima, some of whom are dead set against reforming international institutions to reflect the voices of the developing and less developed world. Delhi has been pushing for such reforms for at least 25 years. In the mid of war in Europe, the G7 forum at Hiroshima, where the US dropped the first of its 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, the only 2 times that these weapons have been used in war, was the appropriate place for India to deliver a wake-up call. So, this article was on India's position, how India has recalibrated its position at the G7, being a leader of the global south, and how these status quoist nations or the wealthiest nations are hurting the least developed and developing countries, because the war mostly sponsored by these developed nations, okay, and the implications are on the developing and least developed world because of the global food crisis, global crude oil supplies, then price hike for in international market for this crude oil and commodity, so or fertilizer, right? So the implications are on the least developed and developing countries, that they are suffering the most from this war. And if these western countries or the wealthy nations want that, they will be they need a peaceful resolution for war, then it is not apparent to their actions, right? So Modi has given 3 strong messages, right? Okay. The first is raise your voice against unilateral attempts to change the status quo. Okay. This is also in context of Chinese incursion to eastern Ladakh. Okay. And this was the second message: make every possible India or its government make every possible effort to contribute in whatever way India can for resolving this situation. As the voice of the global south. War has hurt developing countries the most by triggering a global fuel, food and fertilizer crisis, which they do not have the resources to offset. Okay. So this conflict need to be brought to an end urgently through dialogue before more people die or displaced, right? And the third important message are these wealthy status quo nation which are dead set against reforming international institution to reflect the voices of the developing and less developed world, like, and that is the seat in the permanent seat in the UNSC. Okay. Reforming dead set against reforming international institution to reflect the voices of the developing and less developed world. Okay. So this was for today. Thank you guys. I hope you would be enjoying and you would be able to understand this topic. And if you need any other topic to be discussed, please do comment in the comment section. Okay. And give us valuable feedback in the comment section that we will have to see. Okay. So thank you guys. Bye bye. Signing off for the day.